Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will.
And I'm Brian.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, from feral folk heroes to flaming forests. And today, we're talking about Knolls.
Finally.
The Dungeoncast. Hey Brian.
Hey, Will. Hey, Twitter. You kept picking other stuff that wasn't Knolls, and now it's not your choice.
Yeah, we're doing Knolls today. I just figured it's time.
It's time.
So,
I'm always like, oh, sick, we're going to do Knolls this week. Oh, wait, we're not.
So do you know what a Gnoll is, Brian?
I do. You threw them at me in
I did.
One of our first games. It's like one of the first monsters we fought.
Yeah, it's a mob I like to use because they're scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
But beyond fighting them, is there anything else you know about them?
Just their aesthetic. They're like hyena people, right?
Yeah, they're essentially hyena men. So Knolls are a semi D&D original. They're mostly a D&D original. There is a folklore creature called a Gnoll. The word Gnoll is basically the word troll and gnome put together.
Oh, okay, because that's Gnoll, right?
Gnoll, yes.
Okay.
It's essentially not related in any way, shape, or form outside of the name.
Just like these two things, hyena person. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, in folklore, they're not hyena people.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's mostly a D&D original.
Oh, you're saying
they just took the name. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get into D&D Knolls because the other Knolls irrelevant.
Wait, hang on. It's not that irrelevant because I'm interested. It's a It's a troll and a gnome.
From my limited readings, it is essentially we talked about this in the kobold episode. How like the folklore of kobolds are like these invisible impish creatures that do mischief,
right?
And in goblin episodes,
like how fairies were like a different. They were like invisible and like blah blah blah.
Same thing with these things. They're basically invisible, unknowable things that cause mischief.
Oh.
Back to the important
got
stuff.
it.
So Knolls in D&D are bloodthirsty hyena men that are so intolerable. Even orcs don't mess with them. I mean, orcs will fight them, but they don't ally themselves with Knolls ever. No one allies themselves with Knolls. Knolls suck. I don't give these guys the same treatment as I do with a lot of the other mobs. I think with bullywugs, with kobolds, with goblins, with orcs, like they're people. You know what I mean? Like they're not just these mindless beasts.
Yeah, they have culture and agency.
Yeah. With Knolls, in order to give them that same culture and agency, you would have to drastically change their lore, and that's totally fine. I just generally don't.
Well, yeah, we're talking about just the straight up vanilla.
Yeah, we're going to talk
here
about the official lore, but also, like, I just generally don't homebrew it myself, which I know is not the norm for me, but I think you'll see why as we talk more about them. Knolls are actually pretty big. I think a lot of people forget this because they picture orcs as hulking and they picture Knolls as more like these
hyenas,
slender hyena men. They're actually between 7 and 8 feet tall.
Yeah, they're bulk.
They're huge, yeah.
And was a common thing for me too before I like actually went into the monster manual to look at them. I was like, oh shit. Same thing with lizard folk. It was like, oh, these are like scrawny, like little like pieces of shit that I'll just like bash around because, you know, they're mobs. You smash them up.
Right.
But no, they're like beef.
Yeah, Knolls are huge. I think the first time I noticed it
Get those thick
was I have a bunch of minis, D&D minis, official D&D minis, and I happen to have the Gnoll mini next to an orc mini, and the Gnoll mini actually towered over the orc. I was like, holy shit, these things are huge. Is this like a misprint? Or like a defect or like a badly designed
because orcs are like what, 6 foot whatever?
No, orcs are pretty big too. It actually was a little over exaggerated, but it made me look into it and I was like, oh wow, Knolls really are big. They're like 7'7". Like, that's huge.
I think the average is taller than orc average, isn't it?
I'd have to look into it, but if it is, it's only slight because orcs
are big.
Pure-blooded orcs are big. Half orcs are
maybe
less
I'm
big.
thinking of half orcs.
Yeah. So, anyways, Knolls, they're generally depicted as feral nomads that kill and pillage without warning.
Feral nomads.
Their tribes aren't called tribes; they're called war bands. Now, the reason that so they're generally the scariest of the mobs. The 5 mobs are Knolls, kobolds, bullywugs, orcs, and goblins.
Right.
I mean, there are others, but those are like the main ones. And Knolls are by far the scariest. And the reason that is because they are incredibly and inherently closely tied with demons.
Okay.
And demons are scary. So let me tell you The Short and Terrible Tale of the Knolls.
Tell me a story, Will.
I will.
Story time with Will. It's Will's story corner.
Will's story corner. Let's go.
I need a stinger, like a musical stinger, like right before you tell us a story.
Yeah. We should come up with one. So there is a demon lord named Yinagu, the Demon Prince of Slaughter, or the Beast of Butchery. He's basically a giant demonic-looking gnoll monster. He's not as powerful as Orcus Demogorgon, but he's up there. He's a demon lord.
Okay, now I've been hearing to Stranger Things, right?
Yeah. What about Stranger Things?
I guess they say Demogorgon, not Demogorgon.
That's because I believe Demogorgon is owned by wizards and Demogorgon is not. So it's definitely an homage.
Okay.
Although you need to watch that show because number one, it's incredibly good and I recommend it to everybody. But also like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things is nothing like Demogorgon from D&D.
Yeah, because I told my mom, who's a fan of the show, like, oh, they do Demogorgon, and we talk about them.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's this. She like explained it to me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's not Demogorgon.
No, it's not.
Because Demogorgon is the official demon lord of the show.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, he is.
Shout out to Demogorgon.
Anyways, moving on. Back to my story, Brian. Way to interrupt my story corner, dude.
Oh no.
Okay, it's okay. So Yinagu is the Demon Prince of Slaughter and Beast of Butchery, and he has actually had a lot more success with coming to the mortal realm than other demon lords.
Cool.
I think it's because his MO is very simple compared to other demon lords. He just wants to cause untold horror.
Just whatever I do, like I just got to get in there.
Yeah,
that's it. If I can just get in there.
That's exactly it. And basically, he showed up on the Prime multiple times, and he just wrecks havoc as much as he can until someone puts him back. So, in one of the times that he's done this, in the wake of his horror, he was followed by packs of hyenas that scavenged off the corpses of his uncounted kills, and the hyenas that did this kind of went into a feeding frenzy and they transformed into the first Knolls that then scattered to the wind to cause as much destruction as possible.
And they don't count when they kill.
Yeah, you now see why I don't treat Knolls the way I treat orcs or goblins.
Yeah, because
they're just
demons. Like demon spawns.
They're like half demons, basically.
Wow.
So Yinagu's MO is he wants to transform the world into a barren, empty ruin with naught but the decaying dead and whatever Knolls are left over feeding off the dead. That's just his idea of paradise.
Just me and my Knolls.
Just me and my Knolls. And everything else is dead.
Everything else, fuck it.
So they have this inherent connection to Yinagu. They're actually, some would say, an extension of his will, and he has this constant psionic connection with all of them. Because of this connection, he causes the Knolls to be stricken with an insatiable hunger for the flesh of intelligent creatures.
Okay, cool.
And it's this constant growing urge to cause blood and destruction, and the only way that urge abates is by the killing and eating of intelligent creatures.
Oh my goodness!
Like if they kill like animals, it doesn't abate the hunger.
Yeah,
it has to be intelligent humanoids.
Okay,
and so it takes over. It takes over their will. It's their everything.
Taste this flesh. It's so smart.
Yeah. Yeah,
like then they kill a wizard. They're like, yes.
They're just like, oh my god, I'll feel good for a week at least.
Wow, man, this is like caviar. The way this wizard thumbnails.
Hilarious. Anyways, this constant thirst for blood makes them friends of no one, basically, because like they just can't be like even orcs. Like they'll just eat the orcs. Although the orcs would fight back formidably, and like it wouldn't be like they'd be overwhelmed, but like they can't ally themselves.
Orcs are also like fast food for. For Knolls.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're not the smartest. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed in terms of thinkables.
So yeah, like eating intelligent things is their end all be all. They have no homes, like because they're feral and they're nomads.
Okay.
They have no skills aside from killing.
I thought they made aren't they really good thieves? I thought there was Knolls?
No, they just pillage and kill.
I thought there was a Xanathar's Guide thing where they like kind of made a specializations of Knolls.
I do know that Forgotten Realms does treat Knolls a little differently. I think they have a little bit less inherent connection to Yinagu.
Okay. Or maybe they've like descended or like grown to do other things. I don't know.
Yinagu is still a big part of like Gnoll society in Forgotten Realms, but It's a little bit conflicting because if you read the Forgotten Realms wiki on Knolls, it's like a completely different read from all the official 5e stuff. And the official 5e stuff is supposed to be steeped in Forgotten Realms. And since I am personally not familiar enough with Forgotten Realms as a campaign setting to know the difference, I'm talking official material here. So
Okay.
I don't know. Xanathar's Guide is really steeped in Forgotten Realms. So
Right.
maybe that's where you're getting that from. And I imagine that they could make great thieves because they are very dexterous, and we will talk about that.
That was just like a quick, I don't even know if I saw it in there. It was like
Okay.
a quick flip through I was doing. I was like, oh, there's other Knolls. Like how they made more kobolds.
Right.
Oh, no, that's not, I am not thinking of official. I'm
Okay.
thinking of a third-party book. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
everybody.
All right. Well, let's keep going here. So, because of the way they are, they have a societal structure, but it's barely a structure. They have a structure. It's just really bizarre, and we will talk about it. Generally speaking, Knolls, they're chaotic, they're unpredictable. And a big part of their chaotic, unpredictable behavior is actually linked to the fact that their boss, Yinagu, is constantly sending them signs, omens, and visions of what he wants them to do.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Because of this, Knolls are constantly on the lookout for signs and acting on them, whether they're there or not. Okay. So, like they're
Jim Carrey in the movie number 23 or whatever.
Yeah, there we go. The point is like they're unpredictable. You never know where they're going to show up, when they're going to strike, what they're going to do, who they're going to decide to kill, and whatnot. Like they're unpredictable. They're very strong. They're incredibly fast. They're relentless. They're just pure evil. But luckily, they're incapable of organizing themselves beyond small war bands because
Right.
they war among themselves too. If they run out of people to kill, they will start killing each other.
So it's like groups of like maybe 20 or less, or what do you think?
I think that's a healthy number to pick.
Because it's mostly like we're getting hit with like 6 to 12 of them, I guess, in combats.
Yeah.
That's just typically like because we're playing D&D and like we're building combats that we don't want to be like messy and take hours.
Right.
Typically.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you do. I don't know.
So we will get into like their hierarchy, if you will, but first let's take a minute and take a short rest.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome to the part of the episode we stopped talking about the last thing we were talking about. Don't think about it anymore. Think about how much we love you listening to the show. If you can hear the sound of my voice, thank you so much for listening to my voice and the sound of it.
I also thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Let me tell you a couple things about us. Like we have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/thedungeoncast. There's a bunch of bonus content there, and there's going to be more bonus content there in the next upcoming months. We're going to put on some new one-shot campaigns. The Vault Raiders, our holiday special. We've already got some up there. We're going to have some new ones up there. Get in there, check out some show notes, early episodes, that because we record ahead of time, and anything that I have early, I put up there. It's just a matter of like me getting it done early.
Yeah.
So don't expect like...
So
you
if
know,
you're
6 episodes ahead of where we are because we're not that far ahead.
So if you're listening to this now, it was probably on Patreon for the last couple weeks.
right, indeed, probably about that.
Probably.
There's usually like a 2-week lead time on that. Anyway, you can also find us on soundcloud.com/thedungeoncast, or if you search for us on YouTube, or if you go wherever podcasts can be found. If you're listening to us on iTunes, or if you have an iTunes, please leave us a review on there. It'd be really awesome. And if you're watching us on YouTube, which you can search the Dungeoncast on YouTube and find us, thanks Josh Freeland, hit the like and subscribe, because it really does, I know everybody says that, but it's because it helps everyone a lot. Hit us up in the comments. We go through there and we'll answer questions, or talk about points of interest or anything like that. We are active. You can find us on Twitter at the Dungeoncast, or if you want to send us a message, like an email, like a question or a show suggestion or anything like that, you can find us at thedungeoncast@gmail.com. Man, the space out here, it's cold and lonely, not like the show. Maybe we should go back to the show.
Yeah, let's go back to the show. We keeping that?
Yes, my warm, toasty show.
Indeed. All right, we're back, and we're still talking about Knolls. Before we get into Gnoll
Knolls.
society, let's talk about Gnoll behavior. So, unlike orcs who kill for resources, or for glory, you know, or just to like to prove the power of their might,
or because like somebody like is controlling them and told them to,
or that, yeah, you know, yeah, that. Gnolls just love killing. It's just what they love to do. They aim for weak targets first because they just can be killed that much faster.
Yeah, I can get more killing in if I kill the weak stuff first.
Exactly.
And shit, man, I love killing.
Yeah, they don't glory in killing something strong. They don't care. They just want it dead.
Yeah, the act of the killing.
Exactly.
So it's like you wake up in the morning and you look over at your buddy and you're like, so what are we killing today?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Glory and honor, of course, are not a thing with them. They can band together to take out much stronger foes if Yeenoghu compels them to do so.
Okay.
To the point of like, you ever seen World War Z?
I've seen
the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the job we worked at together, I've seen enough World War Z.
Okay.
Because of I'm sure
you've seen the scene where all the zombies are kind of like hitting the wall and then they're crawling over other zombies.
Yeah, and they're crawling up each other and
Yeah.
like Brad Pitt's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Knolls will do that to a city.
Okay.
If Yeenoghu compels them and gets an army of them together,
He makes
they'll do
Gnoll
that.
Zombies? Wow.
Well, no, not Gnoll
Well,
zombies.
not zombies, but they act like zombies.
Although we will talk about Gnoll zombies, but before that, no, I mean they just literally will kill and climb on dead bodies till they get over that wall.
Is that? I'll wait for Gnoll Zombies to ask my question. But that's wild. We need to climb a wall. Time to stack some Knolls.
Yeah, time to stack some Knolls. So, believe it or not, they're very proficient bow users. Like it's a thing with them.
Okay.
Because it just gets them to the kill that much faster, I guess.
I can kill at range.
Yeah, like I don't want to wait till I get there. I'll just kill them now.
I'm gonna run as fast as I can, but I'm gonna shoot all these arrows on the way.
Exactly. And they never, ever, of course, leave survivors. Like,
I mean,
like, why would you?
Yeah, like not if they can help it.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Gnoll.
Inversely,
Yes,
when
go ahead.
when I'm a player in a game and I roll up on some Knolls, I also don't leave survivors.
Yeah, definitely not. So Gnoll society, or what you could call a society. They kind of speak in two different languages. One of their languages is just a series of snarls and growls that get basic concepts across, but when they need to communicate something a little more complex, they can actually speak a really rudimentary form of abyssal.
Oh,
which is
wow.
the fiendish language of the abyss. They are led by either a pack lord or a Flind.
A Flind. That's a new word for me.
That is a new word for you. So let's first, a pack lord is basically a mighty warrior amongst the tribe that curries favor with Yeenoghu via living sacrifices. They tend to use blood runes that they put all over themselves to give them like supernatural power.
Okay.
Like greater physical strength.
I see. Okay.
A Flind are something even more powerful. They are extra big and strong. They are more demonic looking than a regular Gnoll, and they wield these huge magical flails that, like, when you're struck by them, they not only physically mess you up, but they also drain your body and mind of energy.
Oh, so this is a like an extra Gnoll, and it's carrying a magical weapon?
Yeah, exactly.
So what is it? Does it have a statistical effect when you get hit by the magic drain?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the Flind's a monster stat, but I'm sure it does. I'm
it's
sure
Giga Drain from Pokemon,
Yeah,
but
it's Giga Drain, but evil.
Like they do damage to you and they heal a quarter of what they did to you or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it's a healing thing, but like, yeah, it does extra like necrotic damage, I'm sure, or something along those lines. There's only ever one Flind in a pack.
Oh.
If a Flind is slain by another Gnoll, that Gnoll, if it grabs the flail, will become a Flind.
It's tied to the weapon.
It's tied to the weapon, but it's also tied to Yeenoghu's will.
Okay. So he's only got enough juice to get like one Flind in there at a time.
Yeah. There's only ever one Flind per pack. If there is a Flind, the Flind is in charge. There is no pack lord.
Okay.
So you understand.
Yeah, I got you. But in the pack lord thing, they all have the runes. Like there's a big group.
Yeah, the pack lord will have blood runes all over.
Oh,
them.
They're
the
almost
one. Like a Flind light.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So on a
Diet Flind.
On a side note, females are actually indistinguishable of males. Now, I actually like this fact because in the real world, with hyenas, the females are so masculine that they're actually, it's beyond being indistinguishable. The females are more masculine than the males, or masculine in the way that we would commonly perceive that. They're bigger, buffer, more manly. They have more testosterone. And I'm not playing.
Oh, it's actually
in
an
real
actual
life.
testosterone thing?
I think it's an actual testosterone thing.
Okay, for sure.
There's also some other facts that are grosser that I won't get into. But I like the idea that the females are indistinguishable because it's like that kind of reflects real life in its own weird way.
Okay.
Moving on though. The pack is generally composed of warriors and hunters. The hunters are like quicker scouts that tend to stay on the outskirts of battle and whatnot.
Okay.
You know, what you would think it is. There is a special type of warrior amongst the Knolls that's called a flesh gnawer.
Okay.
Which
it just eats the skin.
They just they just specialize in close combat. They're extra fast and they go into like a frenzy. They're frenziful.
So it's like a barb.
It's like a barbarian. Yeah,
it's like the barbarian version.
There is another class, if you will, of Gnoll called the Fangs of Yeenoghu. These Knolls are basically regular Knolls with the extra capability of casting rituals on the bodies of their kills. Now, this a body that's had this ritual cast on it is then introduced and fed to the hyenas that they keep. This gets really weird. So the hyenas that eat these bodies go into like a feeding frenzy till they're just bloated and fat until they eventually burst and give birth to full-grown Knolls.
What the hell?
This is how they replenish their numbers when they're like on the warpath and they need to replenish their numbers as they're going. This is how they do it.
But wait, how does that make more Knolls?
Demonic magic, bro.
If you're eating, if one Gnoll dies to make one Gnoll,
no. They kill whatever they're killing. Let's say they kill a bunch of orcs.
Okay.
They then cast a ritual on all the dead bodies and bring in the hyenas. The hyenas then go into a feeding frenzy.
Have animals with them.
Yeah, they
have hyenas.
Hyenas tend to like,
and the hyena dies and becomes a Gnoll.
It explodes and Knolls come out of it. It says Knolls, bro, plural. I didn't say how many.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's so. There's
have
that.
you seen Cloverfield?
No, actually I haven't. I saw the sequel, if you will.
Oh, I get.
It's very good.
I didn't see that.
It's
but
super good.
The original Cloverfield with like the giant monster movie.
Yeah.
It like let off these little mini monsters that like ran about the city, and when they bit, I don't know how like.
Spoilers.
Yeah, well, like when it bit people and they escaped, like this only happened in like one scene. The girl that got bit and escaped like blew up, and the thing came out of her. Yeah, like a full-grown one.
Oh, that's like it's the same in reverse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It reminded me of that because things are like living things blowing up and giving birth to a full-grown other thing.
Yeah. So we talked about how Knolls will turn on each other sometimes, and when that happens, in order to make up for the loss of numbers in Yeenoghu's army, the winning Knolls will cast a ritual on the dead Knolls. Well, first they'll extract all the bones from the fallen Knolls and cast a spell on them to resurrect them, and there'll be these skeletal Knolls called Gnoll Witherlings that will fight alongside them. Yeah, Knolls are messed up, dude. Like, these things are scary.
God, they're taking the time to get all these bones.
Better for Yeenoghu's army.
Does that mean that they have to like deskin the bone, like get rid of? They just need the bone.
They just need the bones.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So they can't just like drag. It's more involved than like just.
It's a little more
getting
involved.
The body.
They will gather all the bones and then they take it to a place to do the ritual. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So a lot of demonic evil stuff. It's real dark stuff. These guys are not your average mob, you know.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So
see, when you're hitting me with these Knolls, they just like rolled up on us. We didn't get all this.
Yeah, you didn't get all the juicy lore.
I didn't know they'd been resurrected from like the dead bodies of like hyenas or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like birthed. I don't get it.
Yeah. To be fair, it was all unnecessary to know that. So
true.
I just needed
game
monsters that look scary to attack you guys. All right. That's all I have on Knolls. Like, you know, unless you got questions, I can answer those.
I thought we were talking about Gnoll zombies.
Oh, well, that's the Gnoll Witherlings.
Oh, those are the those are the
skeletal
zombies.
Knolls, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Can they make? Is it like bigger?
No, it's just a big.
That would be.
They're scary looking. I'll tell you
love
that.
making giant versions of monsters, like somehow explaining some way that happened. This seems like a cool way to do that.
It'd be cool if they did like a Gnoll Witherling of a Flind because they're extra big and scary.
I mean,
so
like
a Flind Witherling.
I got like so many bones here, and I'm just gonna make one big old guy with all the bones, and it would look like super misshapen because you just got a bunch of like femurs stacked on each other to make a leg or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And like its skull is like a bunch of skulls, you know?
It's definitely not official, or why not just multiple skulls? Like, why not multiple heads? Like a Cerberus Gnoll Witherling.
There's like a really broad shoulders and then just like 8 skulls like across.
Behold the monstrosity.
They're just like in a line.
Yeah. You know, I think that's a little too creative for Yanagu. He's just like, no, just bring it back.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So any other questions, Brian, about Knolls?
No.
Specifically?
No.
All right.
No
with
more.
that, then, I think we are going to call it a game.
Let's call it a game. Nasty Knolls. See you later.
Talk to you guys later.
The Dungeoncast.